Welcome back to the channel, all about trying to heal those dungeons and failing. My name is Teddy, and because I got a lot of comments about my healing build today, I'm going to go down my healing build, my gear, skills, and everything you might need to know to get started with healing. This is not going to be some pro healing guide. This is just how I like to heal, how I have my build set up, and how I personally like to play my class. Feel free to take this class and do whatever you need with it. This is just to help you guys out with wanting to heal. So if you enjoy the Throne and Liberty content, be sure to check out the channel for more. Like, subscribe, turn on all those notifications, and without wasting any more time, let's just jump into this, shall we? Before we start, we're going to have to take a look at our gear. Our class is heavily relying on the weapons that we choose. For my build, I'm using the wand and the bow. When you do select your weapons, keep in mind your green and your blue weapons can be exchanged with one another. When it comes to the purple, that's when you really have to commit to whichever ones that you want because it will be expensive to go ahead and exchange. Now, let's take a look at our stats. When it comes to Throne and Liberty, we have the ability to go ahead and choose any stats that we want, but for certain builds, certain stats do help out more than, say, others. For my build, I'm heavily relying on Wisdom, then Dexterity, then Perception, and lastly, Strength. The stat points that I placed in is going to be 28 for Wisdom, 27 for Dexterity, 19 for Perception, and lastly, 15 for Strength. All the other stats will come from your equipment. When it comes to our gear, we don't have many options, but the main stats that we do have to focus on is going to be mana regen, mana cost efficiency, and cooldown speed. Our equipment is a little hit or miss, with a lot of our equipment not having the right stats that we need and needing to do either guild raids, world bosses, or getting lucky in some of the secret dungeons or your co-op dungeons. But the stats that we mainly have to look at is going to be our mana regen, our wisdom, cooldown speed, and your mana cost efficiency. This will vary by what you can get, what you have available to you, and if you guys are willing to swipe for the Lucent. But because my build is pure healing, I'm going to focus on keeping my mana cost down and regenning as much mana as I can so that I can continue healing my party. Starting off with the blue set, we do have some options with the Invoker set. This will give us wisdom, mana, and for a full set of 3, we have cooldown speed 5%. This is going to be a little harder to get with needing to be in a dungeon to get, so try to focus on getting all of your resistance gear. That's going to be your first tier before having to get into your Transcendent 1 set or going for the Mother Nature set. Unfortunately, when it comes to our accessories, the only options that we do have is looking for anything with mana regen, cooldown speed, or max mana. You will have to unfortunately use these for a very long time, so try to find ones that will best fit your build. When it comes to the armor, they should all be maxed out. Continue leveling them if they're not. You will get more back for leveling them up, but let's take a look at the traits. Every piece of gear comes with 1 random trait and 2 locked. Looking at a piece of gear, you have the option to see which traits come on the piece of gear. Choosing the ones that is best for your class is going to help out with whatever role that you're doing, more so than choosing one that you might think you might need and you really don't use. For me, I don't use sleep, so I'm not going to bother with it. Max mana is going to be better for me, and hit chance. The easiest way to unlock traits is going to be finding the same exact item and seeing if there's going to be a trait on it that you like. When you do have the trait that you like, all you have to do is click on the item. It will be placed here. It will show you which trait you will unlock, and you can pay for it with Solent. If you have a green or a blue grade item that has the trait that you really want, you have a chance of applying it, but if you fail, this will increase your blessing. The more blessing that you have, the higher chances that you will be able to apply that trait. If you fail, this will increase your blessing, allowing for an easier chance the next time you try to apply that trait. Other ways to unlock your traits is going to be with the trait unlock stone. Depending on the grade of gear, depends on how many trait unlock stones you have, but if you do have enough, all you have to do is choose which one you want and unlock it. Now, if you don't have the trait that you like, all you have to do is convert it. You can either choose to convert this selectively. This will require the trait unlock stone and conversion stones, but you can convert whichever one you want to whichever trait that you need, more importantly than the original one. Choosing trait conversion, however, has a set percentage that you can have a chance of converting the original skill to. So I suggest not really playing around with this one unless you guys have extra trait conversion stones and your gear is fully maxed out. For me personally, I'm going to take the selective instead of trying to roll the dice and see if I get the one that I want. Once you do have all the traits on your gear, it doesn't stop there, because after that, the traits can be maxed out. Depending on the gear will depend on how many trait tiers you do have, but you will have to find the matching traits to apply on. This will normally take at least 15 of the same purple items. For those who are still looking for gear, gear can be crafted using lithographs, so if you guys are not getting lucky and you have the lucent, you can go out and buy them if you need them. As for your traits, if you guys are still looking for certain traits and you aren't getting lucky with the drops, you're tired of running the dungeons for the chance of the drops, you can come here on the auction house if you guys have the lucent to buy whatever traits that you want. I suggest at least taking a look through here, seeing what you can get and if it's even worth your time. And here are all the stats that I have for my build. Like I said, I'm focusing on mana cost efficiency, my max mana, and my mana regen so that I can go ahead and stay in the fight. Not to mention cooldown speed so that I can go ahead and heal a lot faster. As for healing, it is only plus 74.93% because of my gear, but that will change and you should start getting an idea of your gear once you start getting more pieces and can see the stats yourself. Moving on to the skills, you will have to focus on which skills you will be using more first and then start to focus on the other skills. This is going to be my build, so take this with a grain of salt. You can put your skills however you want and level up whichever ones you feel is more important. Starting off with the defense skills, I did choose the Chaotic Shield because this will inflict a curse while also healing your party's health and stamina. The higher this is leveled, the more stats you'll get back for this, so it is recommended that you level this up to Epic. Next, I chose the Touch of Despair because this will give a weaken that will also heal more of the party. This won't break CC, making it a perfect attack to do when in a dungeon. Next is going to be Swift Healing. This is your main heal and going to be your big heavy heals. I suggest getting this up to Epic for more heals, but keep in mind this will cost more mana the higher you level it. As for our group AoE heal, we have Clay Salvation. This will restore all your party's health within a certain radius. The radius can be increased with the traits, just in case your party keeps running too far out. For me, I chose the Omnipotent Fountain of Life skill. This, when traded right, will have the ability to regen mana, especially when you have that one DPS that likes to use up his whole entire mana bar during the dungeon. Not only can it restore mana, but at base without any traits, this can restore anyone standing inside the AoE that you can place under anyone or anywhere you select on the ground. This will only last 5 seconds, though the duration can be extended. Next, if you guys are enjoying your weekends, we have Time for Punishment. This will decrease your target skill damage resistance and has a chance to inflict the weakened curse, allowing for more heals and other stat debuffs that can help your party out. This is one of the minor skills, so don't worry if you haven't leveled this up as quickly as possible. Moving on, we have Blessed Barrier. This will increase your allies' magic, melee, and range defense for 6 seconds. Additionally, the barrier increases healing received during the day and increases magic, melee, and range endurance at night. For additional 2 seconds, the effect is 2 times greater than the base amount. This is a great skill to open up with your rotation on a tank when he's about to pull any boss or a bunch of mobs. Next, I chose Ensnaring Arrow. This will bind your target down so it doesn't continue attacking you close up. This is only for survival purposes only. This has no type of healing. Moving on, we have Nature's Blessing. This will grant Nature's Blessing to the whole entire party within 16 meters for 4 seconds. What Nature's Blessing does is it will remove an awaken effect and increase the health regen and mana regen. Not to mention, it also enhances your health regen. The higher this is leveled, the more bonuses you will get back, so be sure to level this up to purple. Next, we have Deadly Marker, which will shoot an arrow that has 90% chance to mark a target for 9 seconds. When the target is marked, it will increase the user's magic, melee, and range critical hit chances. Not to mention, magic, melee, and range hit chances for the user and the party members. Each critical hit decreases all skill cooldowns by 1% for the user and the party members. Finally, attacking the marked monsters decreases all skill cooldowns by 50%, stacking up to 100 times. It's a great skill. I suggest leveling it up, but not before all of your healing skills. Following that, we have Purifying Touch. This will remove one debuff effect from the selected ally. Successfully removing the debuff effect increases the user's attack speed for 3 seconds. This is a great buff to put on the tank or any huge hitting DPS when you guys are doing the bosses. Lastly, we have Karmic Haze. This will spread any weakens that the target has to any monsters that are near it. This is great if you guys are pulling a lot of mobs and you guys want to heal a whole entire team, or you need extra heals when you're on cooldown for your main heals. I suggest leveling this up to purple alongside your Touch Despair so that you have the added effect. Now let's look at the passive skills. I chose to go with the Devotion of Emptiness. Getting this epic as soon as possible will allow more healing and decreases the cooldown during the day. At night, this will increase your damage and decrease your curse skill cooldowns at night. Next, I went with the Vampiric Contract because I enjoy my weekends. This will restore your allies' health the more back when a victim has a curse. Next, I went with Saint's Oath. This is another important skill with taking skill damage to increase healing, healing received, Amatoy healing, and potion healing. This will stack up to 5 times. Next, I went with Selfless Soul. This will grant health recovery and regen to allies via active skills, increasing mana regen and healing per stack for 3 seconds. This will stack up to 5 times, and I suggest leveling this all the way up to max as soon as possible. The next important skill that I went with was Distorted Sanctuary. This will increase your melee, ranged, and magic endurance and health recovery over time from skills per party member, including the user within 16-meter radius. Getting this up to epic as soon as possible will help out, especially with the health recovery of your party members. Next is going to be the Wraith's Beckon. This will increase your curse's duration as well as your curse chance the more that it is leveled. If you guys enjoy your weekends like I do, I suggest leveling this up as soon as possible. Next is going to be your Noble Revival. This is going to increase your skill heal by whatever percent per 1000 max mana. I suggest leveling this up to epic as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I'm slacking. Next is Devoted Shield. Getting stuck by a weaken effect has a chance to grant a shield for 3 seconds that absorbs a certain amount of damage depending on what you have leveled. I suggest leveling this up as soon as possible just in case you guys like to go out there and sometimes you get PvP'd. I know this has helped me out several times, and you never know if in a dungeon you might get weakened. When it comes to our wand mastery, you should focus on the recovery line first and then focusing on the other lines. You can get all of these maxed out, though it will take a lot of time. I suggest focusing on recovery first, then all the other ones you might want. At max mastery, here is what my mastery effects are so far. What makes this line so perfect is the mastery skills, including Pure Healing, which will increase your skill heal by 8%, Deep Pain, which increases your magical crit hit chance by 60%, and lastly, Redemptive Penance, which will increase your skill healed by another 8%. Remember, these can be maxed out. You just will have to complete more contracts in order to get a lot of more tiers. Moving on to the longbow. For this, we're going to focus on the support. Choosing this line has Harmonious Mind, which increases your mana regen by 56, Vitality of Dew, which increases your health regen by 42, and lastly, Anti-Magic Arts, which increases your skill damage resist by 80. This is a great line with the last mastery reward being all CC resistant except weaken resistance up by 37.5%. When it comes to healing, you never want to be CC'd, so having this is a godsend. Now let's talk about our skill specialization. This is a great way to tailor your build to how you want it. For my build, this is how I want. If you're not running this, that's fine. Build this how you want, but for me, this works out perfectly for me. So starting out at the top, we have Touch Despair. This is all traded out, increasing my radius by 3 meters, my duration by 3 seconds, and adds 2 stacks with a 50% chance of spreading to everyone else. Next, we have Swift Healing. Swift Healing, again, is all traded out. This will additionally restore the user's health equal to 50% recovery, increases my healing by 3 times per cast, increases the duration by 5 meters, and additionally restores mana 2 while you're healing. Next, we have Clay Salvation. For me, I chose removes 1 weakening effect, and I chose to increase the radius by 5 meters. Time for punishment, I only chose to increase the duration by 3 seconds because I do enjoy how long my weekends do last and can heal people. For karmic haze, depending on if you're soloing out there in the open world to kill monsters, or if you just need a little bit more range, I chose the additional damage, but when I do go out to dungeons, I like to increase the radius so that I have an extra 2-meter radius. Next, we have the Fountain of Life, because this is going to be a godsend for any DPS that uses a lot of mana, or if you need a lot of mana back. I chose to add mana recovery and increase the range by 2 meters. As for the longbow, we have Nature's Blessing. I chose Vitality because it will continuously heal the target for 130 base damage plus 30 per second, increase health regen by 100, and then additionally boost it to 50. I increased the cooldown by 3 seconds when Weaken is applied. I chose the Whirlpool attribute so that there's a 5-meter radius of a whirlpool area that will increase your movement speed by 20% and adds additional stack when the whirlpool is applied. This will help out if your DPS is too slow or you just need an extra boost of speed. Finally, we have Purifying Touch. I chose to add an additional chance to remove 1 debuff, decrease the cooldown by 30%, and I chose Healing Touch to apply 1 healing touch to a target upon removal. This helps me out so much with keeping the main tank healed while focusing on other heals. Now, the last thing that we will have to take a look at is going to be our Guardians. Your Guardians have special little effects that you can pop during certain occasions. For me, I chose the Masked Warlock Danilux. You can acquire this from completing a quest line. Hitting the how to acquire will show you where to acquire it, but this Guardian is extremely important when it comes to healing. When the Guardian is popped, when you use mana, you will recover 26% of the used mana, and 53% of your nearest party member's mana is also recovered. Just this Guardian alone, combined with your Fountain of Life, can keep your DPS with a lot of mana, ensuring the fight will go on a lot smoother, or it can recover your own mana back just in case you guys are using too much or your mana efficiency isn't high enough. But let's demonstrate those heals to show you how to use them and what situation is best for them. Before you start healing, just remember, because we have no type of spells that will reduce aggro, if you do start pulling any mob's aggro, stop healing, run around a corner, and wait for the DPS or the tank to take aggro. Another tip for healing, the tank and you are more important than the DPS. Sure, the DPS can burn down the boss, but without the tank holding aggro, the boss can one-shot those DPS, and without heals, no one stays alive. So make sure to prioritize tank, heals, then the DPS. So let's talk about the rotation for healing. You always want to start off with your shield. This will provide extra healing and a little bit of protection for your tank. Next, you want to apply as many weakens as you can to the target. This will ensure there's passive healing while everyone's attacking, so you can focus on big heals or group heals on the whole party. Now, depending on if you guys are pulling mobs, after applying your Touch of Despair, pop your Time for Punishment for an extra debuff, and your Karmic Haze to spread the weakens to all the other mobs around. If you guys are in a dungeon and several mobs are pulled, any melee mobs that are attacking you can be pinned down with the Ensnaring Arrow so that the tank or DPS can start to take aggro. Next, pop Nature's Blessing, followed by Purifying Touch. Not only will this increase your attack speed, but this will also increase mana regen and health regen for the whole entire party. The next skill on your rotation is going to be Deadly Marker. This will increase the DPS and just being able to apply any future weaknesses while this is still active. This will increase the DPS, not to mention will ensure you're able to actually hit your target. Now, depending on the tank, if the tank is taking huge damage, quickly pop Swift Healing. Depending on how you trait this, you can heal the tank 3 times, or you can choose between each party member and heal them 3 times before having to wait for the cooldown. If that's still not enough, Play of Salvation can be used as party healing. Fountain of Life can be used situationally if the tank is about to take a lot of damage, the party's grouped up and need extra healing for those big heavy damage moments, or your DPS just needs extra mana. Popping a Fountain of Life, depending on how it's traded, can heal and restore mana back for 5 seconds, which is a godsend. That, paired with the shield and party healing, can ensure your whole entire party does not get wiped. Now, I hope this helps you guys start learning how to heal or trying to experiment with your builds. This is just my build. This is not how you guys should build out your classes. There are several other class combinations that you can do. I know that a paladin build is good with healing and tanking, but for me, I'm choosing the wand and the bow because it's pure healing and I only like to heal. It's been fun and I can't wait to start doing guild raid bosses. If you guys want to see more guides on the dungeons, let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to like this if this helps you out and let's try to get more people healing. I know a lot of people don't like healing, and when it comes to the healers on my server, there's far and not too many. With all of that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys in the next one. Keep healing out there, everyone.